Live from the PGA Championship is presented by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
The 18th hole at Quail Hollow is, in a word, tough. In 8 words, and I know you're counting, the toughest closing hole on tour last season. It is the final leg of a 3-hole finish that is known as the Green Mile, a grueling walk to close out any championship, let alone a major. We cannot wait to see how this one ends. Home to the Wells Fargo Championship since 2003, the Green Mile and Quail Hollow Club is a familiar stop to players and television viewers. But this year, in this major, it's going to look and play quite different. Matt Janella joins us now with a closer look at a series of changes to one of the most respected courses in the nation.
In 1959, my father and 24 other men got together with Arnold Palmer and talked about building a golf course here in Charlotte. And Arnold promised them that night when they organized the club that if they built a golf course, he would bring professional golf here, and the rest is sort of history.
Synonymous with the history of Quail Hollow are winners such as Tiger, Ricky, and Rory.
Welcome to the big time, Rory McIlroy.
And almost all other tour players laud the course. And yet, for owner Johnny Harris, he wanted more.
Even though he's hosted one of the best tournaments every year on the PGA Tour, he's always wanted to host a major championship.
And to know Johnny Harris is to know he gets what he wants. In 2010, the PGA of America announced Quail Hollow would host the 99th PGA Championship in 2017. And even before the last putt dropped at the 2016 Wells Fargo Championship, Harris had hired Tom Fazio and 4 different construction crews to make significant alterations.
February of 2016, Johnny Harris called to say, I want to come down and just meet with you. We've got some ideas and things we want to do. Lo and behold, it wasn't just a little change or two.
Number 1 becomes a left to right hole, and 4 will be a strong, straightforward par 3 that's well bunkered. To the 9th hole, we're adding a bunker on the right. They're all modifications that people who've seen them would just get so excited about them they don't know what to do.
This was literally 17 months before the PGA Championship was about to take place. After 2 or 3 hours of meeting, talking through it all, we sort of said, okay, because it's you, because of your club, your commitment to make this happen, we were supportive of it.
Been fortunate, I've been unbelievably lucky to be around some great people in golf. Very few think bigger than Johnny Harris does. There's no stopping that man.
In the South, we talk kicking ass and taking names. That's exactly what they're doing out there.
Although Quail Hollow was a George Cobb original, Palmer had made changes in 1986, and it was Fazio who had already done a redesign in 1997.
Why is Tom the right guy for this?
I think he's number 1. I think he is the best golf architect in the world today. I think he also does a design that is infinitely playable and challenging for our members, but it's also very challenging for the best players in the world.
Changes the golf course, they'll look good. I like the openness of them.
I've played it a few times now. It's definitely gotten harder, but what they did really well is they made it look like it's always been there.
For the 2017 PGA Championship at Quail Hollow to be considered a success, Tom, what would be on your list?
Making sure that we have the best plan, the best execution, the best facilities ready for that event. And we're going to be ready because this is a big deal. This is showtime on the big show.
I hope that everybody that lives in the Carolinas and our membership, when they hand that trophy to the champion in 2017, that they all feel unbelievable happiness and pride in the fact that we did it as good as it could be done.
You have to admire the ambition for making such significant changes in such a risky and short amount of time, but from what we've seen, it looks like they absolutely pulled it off beautifully. How are these changes being received by you two?
I think 95% great. If I was honest, I think the only hole that'll probably really be talked about is the 4th hole, the par 3. But generally, the condition of the golf course, Keith Wood, the superintendent, who was very helpful for me last week in the crew that when we were shooting the tee to greens, it was effusive in praise of his team. I can't lay sod on my lawn in 6 months. I mean, they could rebuild a golf course in 89 days. I just think it's phenomenal. Plus, I know we're going to get to Johnny Harris up here, but kudos to Kerry Haig. He was the first person last year, remember when it rained, to play lift, clean, and place. That was brave. Never been done in a major championship before, to say, this is the right thing, we do this, we can finish the championship on Sunday and crown a champion. He made the decision decisively, and nobody second-guessed him after that. So to come here and say, yep, fine, you do it, we trust you, and you can do it. And I think the product's going to be good.
How long did it take you to kill that paspalum that you laid in your front lawn?
With Roundup, it still took a few days. Squirrels helped. Yeah, the squirrels helped. Yeah, a few armadillos.
The neighbors
as well.
Not complaining.
Can you? No, we don't even go into that. So
I played here the first year. Wells Fargo came here in 2003. John Harris gave me a sponsor's invitation. I wrote him a nice letter. I'm sure of that. And thank you, John.
We can ask
I'll thank him again. Yeah. And I thought then when it screamed major championship. And so you'd think, my goodness, why would they ever change a golf course that had become so popular amongst the players? But in 2003, that really was the first year of that second revolution of solid core golf balls, and everybody, it was ubiquitous by then, and the game has changed so much since then. And the one thing that I've always thought is great about Augusta National is that in spite of the fact that it has this revered history, they're never afraid to change that golf course to fix something that they view as an imperfection. They pay attention to the history and revere it, certainly, but they are not afraid to adapt to what's going on in the game now. And I get the sense that John Harris is much in that same vein. Like, for example, you look at this first hole. So slide dogleg right, and it's a mean hole. The old first hole was gentle. It was a nice little hole. But you got a dogleg right in the first hole, dogleg left in the second hole, and then just straight away. So right there in the first 3 holes, you're asked to hit a fade, hit a draw, and can you hit it straight? So, I love the changes, what I've seen of them. And I think the players are going to love them as well.
Who is this masked man, Johnny Harris, that we all have had the privilege of getting to meet or know over the years? You will get your chance in about 20 minutes from now when the club president, such a likable guy and a smart businessman, will be right here on our set. And you mentioned Augusta National Golf Club, some news coming out of that part of the golf world on the subject of high-profile changes. Augusta Country Club officials have informed its membership that it will sell a parcel of its property to neighboring Augusta National. The memo to the members, dated August 4th, states that the said property is adjacent to Augusta National's 13th hole, lending credence to discussion in recent years about the possibility of the famous par 5 being lengthened. A spokesperson for Augusta National declined to comment on the agreement for the land, citing the club's long-standing policy for not commenting on club matters. Much more ahead. Jordan Spieth says Rory McIlroy's the favorite coming into the week, not him, despite the fact that McIlroy doesn't have a worldwide victory this year. Does Rory agree he's the man? He talks to Todd Lewis when live from the PGA Championship returns.